All right, part three of this five-part series on the inner saboteurs that sometimes can trip us up and negatively affect our confidence. So, we've talked about perfectionism, how being perfectionism, as John Acuff says, is just fear dressed in a tuxedo. And perfectionism, a lot of times, can just be us delaying getting our work, our words, our thoughts out into the world because we think that maybe we're not good enough, or if we put this out there, people are going to think I'm dumb. And so we just say, I need to make it perfect. But really, what we're doing is delaying it. Last week, we talked about being that lone wolf, having that soloist mentality, my biggest struggle in my life. Um, and again, it goes back to I don't want to ask for help because I don't believe I should be doing this job in this relationship, what have you. And if I ask for help, people are going to think I'm flawed or broken or something's wrong with me. And they're going to cause my worst fears to come true and tell me I don't truly belong here. So you adopt a soloist mentality and you don't ask for help when really not asking for help is negatively affecting your relationship or the work you're putting out. Today we're going to talk about one that's a little bit when you hear it's like, why would a natural genius have an issue with self-confidence? Well, natural genius is, just another way to say people that things have come easy to in their life. Maybe school was not a problem for them. Maybe they were talented athletics. Maybe they're just a naturally charming person and they never had problems making friends. Um, whatever it is, they've just really through no fault of their own necessarily had to develop that muscle of resiliency of being able to, push yourself back up off the mat when you've gotten knocked down or knocked out. Um, so if folks have been able to go through their whole life and not really have to develop that muscle of resiliency, all of a sudden when things start getting complicated in life, as an adult, in late 20s, early 30s, 40s maybe, if you're really lucky, things will get complicated. You know, jobs, financial pressures, spouses, kids, moving, parents' health starting to fail. All these things can come together when, it's just a lot to manage and we have a limited capacity as humans to handle all of that. So if you're someone who thinks things have always come easy to, and you have kind of found yourself in this place where it's like, what the heck is going on? Everything's tough. I'm not getting it. Things aren't coming easily to me anymore. What's going on? Who am I? Has everything in my life been a lie? What has happened to me? What's wrong with me now? People that haven't had to exercise that muscle of resiliency, it can cause a downward spiral because their identity is rocked. If their identity subconsciously was things come easy to me, I can handle this, and then all of a sudden things aren't coming easy to them, they can't handle it, it leads them to wonder, who am I really? Well, they're still the same person they are. They just need to recognize that things are a lot more difficult and we're not some superhero. We're humans. We have limited capability and it'll change throughout seasons. Like I remember when our kids were young, we had three kids under the age of 5. And my wife and I both worked full time. Like that was a lot to manage. I was traveling for weeks at a time for my job. Like, and we just felt so stretched thin. It's like, what's going on? We should be able to handle this. Well, it's like, yeah, you can handle a lot, but we had to give ourselves grace that we weren't sleeping for more than like 2 to 4 hours at a time. That we had the stress of negotiating with young children, which, by the way, if you have never experienced negotiating with a small child, they don't negotiate real well. So we just had to learn to adapt and be at peace with that season of our life. So if you feel like you're not who you once were, or you're not as capable as you once were, just pause and give yourself a little grace and step back and think, what else is going on in my life? Is it making sense that I'm not able to handle this, or I don't feel capable of handling all this. And again, ask for input from a trusted advisor. And I'm going to say this again, I'm going to keep saying it. Probably till you're sick of hearing it. If you don't have trusted advisors in your life, start pouring into other people. And I know that can be tough whenever you're in a valley of life or you're not feeling up for it or you're going through struggles. But the benefits you'll get of just number one, helping people. I mean, there are countless studies out there. When we help other people, it kicks off, releases a bunch of chemicals in our brain that helps us. It helps us feel good. It's like Jerry Maguire said, help me help you kind of thing. So start pouring in other people because you will get an immediate boost to your well-being just by helping someone. But what it's also going to do is going to start building that trust with people and start building up that community around you that you so desperately need in order to be there for you on those days when things get tough. So if something's always come easy, if things have always come easy to you, you've never really struggled, and you find yourself in a place in life, you're like, what is wrong with me? Pause. I don't think anything's probably wrong with you. It's probably just if you do an honest assessment, you're overwhelmed and overloaded, and that's okay. Look at the season of life you're in and realize that this is not who you are. You're still who you were. You just need to give yourself some grace. All right. So that's the perfectionist. That's the, bleh. That is not perfect. That was the wrong thing to say. That's the natural genius. We've talked about perfectionism, the lone wolf, natural genius. We only got two left in this 5-part series. Next week, we are going to be talking about the expert. All right. So stay tuned for that. So if you're someone who finds yourself always signing up for courses and reading books before you actually do anything, if you're always in the learning phase and never in the doing phase, definitely stay tuned next week. All right. So big favor to ask of all of you. If you could just share some of this content, that would be fantastic to help get the word out and also, help get the word out about me and what I'm trying to do. And, the business that side of this is. So the more people that can be reached and helped, the better, we can help people feel. And that'll also just help me out in this new venture. So till then, onward and upward, everybody. Thanks.